everyone, Jeremy Smith here with Faith Ascent, and visiting us today is my friend and board member Jared Stoner with West County Assembly of God Church. How you doing, Jared?
Doing great.
Excellent, very good. So Jared, you've been involved with Faith Ascent basically from its inception. I'm just curious to know from your perspective, how have we maybe changed or matured over the years?
Well, I think there are a number of different ways that I can look at. One pretty easy one is the organization itself has developed and matured, and the people that are in place and the systems and the process. But probably more importantly, two other ways. It seems that one, the vision of the organization has really grown. In the beginning, we weren't sure what to expect. We kind of had an idea of where we were hoping it would go, but the vision of the organization, the dreams have really developed. And the other thing I would say is that the content has developed. 10 years doesn't sound like that much time, but culture has changed so much in a decade. And so the questions that we were asking 10 years ago and the things that we thought were most pressing are still important, but there are new questions that have developed, and I think Faith Ascent has done a great job of developing with the culture, of trying to answer the questions that our culture is asking right now.
What about from a dad's point of view, right? So, just this last summer, your daughter came to our flagship program, that's Basecamp. It was her first time there. Talk to me about Faith Ascent and our message and our mission and our methods from a dad's perspective.
I'll admit it was really different. And it was really great for me to have some conversations with my daughter after the camp and to get her impression of different things and to see how it affected her in the ways that it challenged her thinking. And there are a few things I think that stood out. Good questions deserve good answers. And so one of the things that she came away with was certainly some good answers to questions that she had been asking, and we've talked about maybe here and there, but a concentrated time, people who are experts in their field. She really did get some good answers that were satisfying. One of the other things that was a little bit more surprising to me was that she walked away with some good questions. And I think in the process of training people, if you are not asking the right question, it's hard to get the right answer. And so there were issues and topics that she came home talking about that weren't really on her radar when she went there. And I thought, that's fantastic, because she's asking these questions now that she wasn't before. When somebody else asks her these questions 2-5 years down the road, when she's in a freshman philosophy class, the questions that were asked that she wasn't aware of have given her time to think and to really ponder. And I think another thing that was really good about it that I hadn't really thought about quite as much is that she was able to see people debate topics, and those people didn't come to the same conclusions, but they were both Christians. And they maintained a high level of respect for each other. They talked about the issues. They used arguments and counter-arguments. They didn't demean one another. And as you look at the world around us, I think the level of public discourse is at what seems like an all-time low. And for her to be able to see people who disagree, who stick to the issues, and maintain their love for brothers and sisters in Christ is a tremendous example to her. And as a father, I'm as appreciative for that probably as for anything else.
Yeah, that's a really good segue. So, as you know, every fall, we do a big fundraising dinner, and we try to bring in speakers that are talking about things that are really relevant to our cultural moment. This year, we have author and speaker and WashU professor John Anazu, and he's talking about surviving and thriving through deep differences. And of course, West County has a table there. Thanks again for supporting. I'm just curious to know, in your opinion, why do you think John's message and John's latest book, actually, are so important for our moment?
You know, it does kind of go back to what I said about the value of Basecamp and putting people together who disagree. I picked up John's book about a year and a half ago and was really struck by its affirmation of truth, but also the deeply held conviction he has that you can maintain truth as you see it, but do so in dialogue with people who don't see it that way, and that you can have a civil society, and disagree with people, and I guess I think in a sense, you know, what he has to say can help adults in the same way that Basecamp helps students, and that is, you know, Christians don't have to stop being Christian. They don't have to stop believing in the things that they believe so deeply in and are convinced of. But there's a way to do it in dialogue with people who disagree. There's a way to find common ground. There's a way to affirm the value of people, which we hold as a theological tenet, but in practice it's harder to do. And so I think my hope is that John will in part do for us what Basecamp does for its students, and that is encourage us to maintain what we believe is true, but to do so in civil dialogue with other people and find ways to make our culture and our society better without all the divisiveness and the anger that we see that is just everywhere.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I'm glad you're going to be there. I hope that those watching at West County or in the AG denomination that you would also visit us at this dinner. Not only is it really helpful to the mission of Faith Ascent, but I think it's a great message. I think it's a very timely message for pastors, for parents, for grandparents, for young people, and really just for concerned Christians in general. Go ahead and visit our website, faithascent.com/dinner, for more information about our fundraising and awareness dinner on October the 27th, 2017 at the Missouri Athletic Club downtown. Jared, thanks again for being with us.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Always a pleasure.